Okay, everybody, we're going to start our program. We've got our videographer here, and we've got a lot of ground to cover. We need Lindell Castle here to get everybody's attention, don't we? Although Tom Gabler was pretty good when he first got here. We thought he's mean as can be, and we thought he's an old man. He's 22 years old.
Let me try that for you now. Yes!
Military man. All right, isn't this wonderful to have this many people here? Isn't this great? We started talking about this, and when I say we, I mean Coach Dick and Mike Connor and Bobby Rural and Randy and the man we all call Stud Williams, and some of us. We got talking about this 2 or 3 years ago. So we ought to get together, and we thought, well, what about the 50th anniversary of the first varsity team? And we said, well, let's invite everybody that played, and then we thought, well, let's get everybody that ever played in the first era of Clinton County football. Let's invite all the coaches, the statisticians, the cheerleaders. Let's just make it a fun evening, because folks, you're getting to see people here tonight that you've not seen in a long time. And let me be very honest with you, when you get my age, if you can get together with the people that you used to do stuff with and nobody's just died and you're not at a funeral home, you better do it. I want to thank everybody on the committee, Bev. Everybody goes with their maiden name tonight. Beverly Brown, Debbie Davis, all the ladies that helped. As I say, Randy, Bobby Rural, Mike Connor, Sid Scott, Darrell Thompson, Debbie Connor, Stud Williams, and Vic Upchurch. This has been really, really a great thing. What we're going to do tonight, we don't have a program planned out for the next hour, but it's going to be an open mic event. We do have some presentations, and we have some people that want to say a few things. And then anybody else that wants to come up and talk is allowed to do so. As long as you don't throw anybody under the bus and don't talk over 2 minutes, we're good. We want to start off with the last team, or the last teams, Clinton County High School. Football was discontinued after the 1981 season. It was a tragedy because they had a great group of junior high kids. Some of the boys are here. Jeff Connor, I know, was here, and I don't know who all else. And they were really trying to build a program under Coach David Walters. And when we thought about this, we thought, well, I wonder if Coach Walters would be interested in coming. And nobody knew where in the heck he was. But like everybody else, David Williams found him, okay? So what we want to do is everybody that played for Coach Walters in 1980 and 1981, we want you guys all to come up here right now, okay? Everybody on the team the last 2 years. These boys played as hard as anybody. They worked as hard as anybody in playing football, and they have something for Coach Walters. And Coach, we're so thankful you and your wife are here. And if you'd come up, they have a presentation for you.
There you go, Coach. Find that ball.
Well, I was heard 2 minutes, told 2 minutes. And then they said go as long as you want to. They don't know I was a Baptist preacher, I don't guess. That's a dangerous thing to say, isn't it? I want to say, you know, I was great. I can't talk very loud. I just had my thyroid cut on 3 weeks ago.
Get it back together.
I'll let him get it back together. Can you hear me at all?
Yeah.
If you can't, Lee can be my microphone and holler for you, okay? When I found out about this, brought tears to my eyes like it is now. We didn't have many. Our last 5 games that last year, we had 5 guys on the field. I mean, 11 guys on the field, and nobody to go in. And Barry told me we were ready to have a good laugh. Barry had a hernia. Y'all remember that? He's going out the line about like this to get over the ball to snap it. We said, you got one job, snap the ball and hope nobody comes your way to get through the line. Because there's no way he could move to be able to get a block. No way whatsoever. Mike back here had a, I saw him somewhere and now I can't see him. He didn't want to go through practice, he left. He ended up breaking a collarbone. You name it, Maury came down from Michigan to live with his grandparents. Somebody got hurt in the game. He says, now's my chance to go in as a freshman. He goes in, kickoff comes right to him. He takes off, we always holler go. He forgot to holler go. His bones, his leg was broken in 2 places. Art Cordona said it the next day. Had him in the hospital, said the next day. A lot of tragedy. Go over to Tompkinsville. They had an all-state running back who's about 6'2", and I don't know, about 220 pounds, going to go to UK the next year. And Pat, I just thought to think who it was first. It was Patrick. Patrick was broken down just like this. And that guy's looking at him like, I'm going to run over him. There's no way that kid can tackle me. Score was 7-0 at halftime. We were in the game. Okay? They've got 45, 50 players. We go out, we don't have many at all. We don't have any at all. It doesn't work for me at all. I've got to think about computers and microphones. They just don't like it. Anyway, this guy gets a ball, and he runs right toward Patrick and thinks, that kid's such a short run, I'll just run on over him. He takes off the ball just like this. Instead of dodging, he tries to run right over him. Patrick's broken down just like this. I mean, way down the ground. Well, you got one guess where he hit him. And the guy, I don't know if y'all remember, the guy's laid out. There's a timeout right then because he couldn't get up. A lot of memories. I'd send something in on defense. It was never going to be run. Because either Mark or Allen, we didn't have enough players. So they said, you know, maybe they thought, I don't know, watch pro football on TV. They check off all the time. Let's just check off. But you know what? They always got where the ball was. We were undersized, but there wasn't a team anywhere that could beat us in the first half. The second half was different because no matter how much I ran her butt in the ground, they still got tired. Somebody's already said tonight, I think it was Pee Wee, said, boy, I wish I could have had a drink of water every now and then. Well, I could go back on every one of these guys. They've all grown to be men who are compassionate, have made and are making an impact on other people. For that, I praise the Lord that I came tonight and got to see them. Again, I was afraid they'd tell you all the horrible stories on me like practicing halftime. can't believe I said that. but I did. Wasn't very smart, but I guess that was me. I just want to challenge everybody here. God has given every person here a gift. Some of you may not know exactly what that gift is, no matter what your age is. But it doesn't mean, one, that you don't have it. It doesn't mean, two, that you can't find it and use it. The biggest thing you can do is just be a blessing, even though you run them to death, even though you take a shoe and kick them in the butt, which you couldn't do now at all, even though you're hard on somebody, love them. Just love them. Do your best to make an impact on them. And hopefully they can see Jesus living in you. That's the greatest thing that you could ever do in life. Gentlemen, something a lot of you know, and I will wrap it up quick. I won't too long. When I was here, I had the first day of February, school was called off because the water lines broke. We drove to Glasgow. I'm going to go see my sister. And I'm knocking on the back door and had a stroke. Wow. I laid in a hospital in Bowling Green for a week. It took me 6 months to taste anything. I'd pour pepper on it and sneeze my head off. Still couldn't taste anything. The Lord had other plans for me. I told Jamie I'm going back to school. She said, no, you're not going back to school. You can't. I said, you call Tammy Cardona up and ask her over for dinner and bring Art. If he tells me I can go back to school, you got to shut up. I'm not trying to be rude. That's what happened, okay? That's kind of the way I was. I was pretty pushed, okay? Well, I got there and Art said, David, you're not ready to go back to school. He said, what happened to you is a miracle. I said, what? He said, yeah, you had a stroke that we cannot explain medically. He said, but you've had a recovery that nobody can explain at all. The Lord has allowed this to happen to you. He didn't cause it. He's allowed it to happen to you for a purpose. I don't know that purpose, and you may not know now, but you will. Just trust Him. I battled it. I fought it. I said, no, not me. I can't do it. And people reminded, hey, David, it's not you that's doing it. You surrender to the Lord, He'll do it. Since that time, I battled 2 more years and finally entered the ministry. Got a piece of mail one day. I have no idea where it came from. Never heard of the organization. Nothing. And I've been running. And I was looking to go with the University of New Mexico and their academic athletic department as associate athletic director for counseling. Guy named Tom Bridges was the athletic director out there, and that's where I thought I was heading. And all of a sudden, that door closed, and the Lord opened it up with that piece of mail that I got. I don't know how or why, but at that point, I knew where He wanted me. I said, okay, Lord, I've run long enough. He's using ministry as a bivocational pastor. I was seminary after that. He's using ministry as a bivocational pastor for years and years and years until I had a stroke and heart attack together a few years ago. And sometimes I get wobbly and I don't know where I'm going. But what am I saying to you? Trust in the Lord always, as the Bible says. Lean not on your own understanding. If there's something going on in your life that you don't understand right now, that makes no sense to you, and you feel like you have no purpose, no direction, there's one way you can find it. There's one way you can get it. And that's through trusting in Jesus Christ. I want to challenge you to do that if you hadn't done that before tonight. I want to thank these guys for all the crap they put up with me on, okay? It's so great to see every one of you. God bless you. Carry him in your heart. Go forward with him and serve him. If you don't know the passage, go look at Matthew 28, 19 and 20 tonight. If you don't have a Bible, you got an iPhone. Look it up. And then trust the Lord always, I said a while ago, and lean not on your own understanding. Thank you, folks, and God bless you.
All right, and we know the Lord moved Coach Walters, and then again, there's somebody that said being football coach at Clinton County High School would make a preacher out of anybody. So. All right, from 1976 to 1979, Brian Thompson was the head coach here. Nobody loved his kids as much as Brian. He tried hard. The whole team tried hard. They had some tough years, but they worked as hard as anybody. They fought as hard as anybody, and we thought that team ought to be included in this, those teams. So all you guys that played for Coach Thompson, please come up. And Dolores Thompson is with us. Dolores, where are you? Come up, please. And I want to say this about Brian while Dolores comes up. He and Dolores were the heart and soul of the Foothills Festival for many years, worked so hard at that, and he's just a great fellow. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to David Upchurch.
Dolores Thompson.
Yes.
We've all signed this football and we'd like to present to you tonight. You're more than welcome.
While David Williams is going after another ball, Terry Starnes has reminded me that he stands up and can't sit down. He played for everybody, just about. And he played well. And we're giving these footballs away, folks. They're supposed to be signed by the players. If you didn't sign it, go ahead and sign it before they leave. Sign for whoever you played for. We got to looking for Rick Highsmith, and he was pretty easy to find. When you got a name like Highsmith, it's not that hard. Rick coached here for 2 years. He came here from Austin Peay. He went back to Springfield, Tennessee, that area, and retired after, I think, 36 years as a teacher, coach, and administrator. And we were just thrilled to death that he agreed to come see us. And if all you guys, like me, played for Coach Highsmith, if you all would come up. And Coach, if you want to come on up as well. This is the 74 and the 75 team. Captain Mike State, Captain Mike Mann, Leon McClure, Johnny Alton, Tommy Thrasher. Lord, I've had more battles with these guys.
played on the first team, and Coach Gabler, can you hear me? I started playing when they started the program here. Coach Gabler was actually the first coach that they hired. Before that, we played with Jim Dick and Lyndall Castle out on the outfield of the softball field, or the baseball field. We didn't have any pads or anything, and but that's when we started playing. And then Coach Highsmith came in my junior year, and I played for him as a junior and a senior, and I really enjoyed playing for Coach. Coach?
I run out of oxygen quickly. I left it in the car. I didn't want y'all to see it. But please bear with me, because this is such a proud moment for me. In 1974, 2 months after I graduated from Austin Peay, I saw an ad in the Nashville, Tennessee that said, "Football coach wanted, Clinton County Central High School." I had no earthly idea where Clinton County was. They did not have navigation systems back then. But I pulled out a trusty old, now some of you won't even know what this is, paper map. And it took me to Cookeville, and then Livingston, and then Birdtown. And I said to myself, oh Lord, am I going to fall off the world? But I kept going, and I am so glad I did, because my 2 years here were the most wonderful years I had in all coaching. The young men I got to coach here were the finest young men I've ever seen. I can't tell you a lot of stories, and I sure can't follow a Baptist preacher. My son-in-law is a Baptist preacher, and although I'm United Methodist, we do things a lot more subtle. I do go see him every once in a while so that I can see my grandchildren. And I'm not even going to try to keep up with that sort of thing, because they're awesome. But what I do want to say is the young men that I had the opportunity to coach who, sorry, they're not young men anymore, but they always will be to me. And they were actually more like brothers, because I wasn't that much older than they were. They put up with the guy and taught him a whole lot more than he could ever teach them. And those lessons that they taught me, I took with me, and I used them for actually another 38 years in education after that. I finally retired after 40 years of education in 2014, and quite frankly, it took a collapsed lung, a heart attack, and rheumatoid arthritis to stop me. But what the heck, now I can still go out and play golf. But anyway, it was such a joy, and such a joy to coach these young men. And again, y'all are still young men to me, I don't care what you say. And I was so honored that they hunted me down and invited me back. I don't travel much anymore, and my wife doesn't travel at all, so I'm going to head back tonight, actually, before the game starts, and get back to her. But I had to come. There's just no way they could have taught me into anything in 1974, and it's no different today. So thank you guys so much.
I just want to say one thing. I remember one time Coach Highsmith took us down to his alma mater, Austin Peay, and I thought it was so funny because the cheerleaders, they go, "Let's go Peay, let's go Peay, let's go Peay."
And the rest of that story is when Fly Williams played down there, it was "The fly is open, let's go Peay."
As someone who was in the same dorm with Fly Williams, all I can tell you, he was floating most of the time, believe me. On behalf of the football team that you coached, Rick, we'd like to have this football. It's such an honor. It's such an honor. I'm the one who was honored by getting to coach.
I want to say something about Bob Reno real quick. On August 12, 1973, Bobby broke his leg in a motorcycle wreck. He loved football so much, he stayed out of school the whole year. It was a bad break. He came back his senior year and graduated with us and played. He was limited as to what he could do, but he loved it then. He loved it now. He loves sports. And I want to thank Bobby for all his help in putting this thing together. Now we're going to skip a little bit. We're going to go to the coach. I thought he's the meanest, roughest, oldest guy that there was when he hit Clinton County. I remember he told us one time, he said, "I'm not having you guys look like a bunch of grubs." And that's when he wanted me to cut my hair, and Gary Elmore and some of us, and that really didn't go over very well. That being said, Tom Gabler, come up, and all you guys that played for Tom, the JV year 72, come up.
Where's Bar?
Kenny, get up here and introduce this. We want to present Coach Gabler. He came here from Eastern Kentucky. He was he taught us fundamentals. He taught us how to tackle. He taught us about football, and he taught us a lot. And I'm just so thankful he decided to come. And Coach, we want to give you this football signed by that team.
Thank you. Thank you all. I am really deeply honored to be here. You know, they always say you remember your first, and I remember my first, which is these, again, young men. And they taught me, I taught them. You know, we didn't even hardly need pads because they were so tough anyway. We didn't actually have any pads for a while. We had to go buy some kind of used pads in Tennessee. But anyway, we survived and did well. But I am so proud to be here, and you know, as I was telling the guys, you know, I kind of regret leaving. Of course, back then I was young and didn't really think too well, but I know, you know. So I regret it even more after I left, but this was a special place, and I thank you all. I'm not a big long speaker. I'm not a preacher or anything like that. So anyway, but I'm so proud of these guys, and so proud that you asked me to come back, and so, you know, touched by that. So it means a lot to me. It means a very lot to me. And yes, you know, I coached a lot after that, but these guys were always my favorite because, you know, like the other guy said, you know, they taught me as much as I taught them. So thank you very much. It's an honor. And I wish everybody good health. And God bless. Thank you.
I want you all to know something. He was never this short-winded when he was on the football team. God knows he's preached to me a lot.
Not too good a language there
I was just afraid he's going to grab the mic and want everybody to huddle for him again.
Oh, it was an experience.
Look at this guy. This guy huddling.
All right, now, Barry Barnett wants to say something.
I always like to
Speak up, Barry.
I always like to learn something new. He brought something new to the table. It's called defense of gap 8. We played it against Barron County, and they did not score as much as what they thought they were going to score. But we did score against them too. Garland took that ball in. He showed us where each position, each one had that job to do. When we did it, we stopped them. And it proved time and time. What has surprised me is I don't see any other teams around, even today, that's even playing that defense. We need to get that brought back if we can. Give somebody else help. Thank you, kids.
I want to explain to y'all something. When Tom was here, we played home games on the outfield of the baseball field in the middle of the day, and no lights, and it was quite an experience. We're here, and they brought their whole dadgum varsity and beat us. We also beat Wayne County that year in the scrimmage, and it was and we knew we had something brewing, something going on. All right, now. The next team we want to honor, and the next coach, is how this all started. I'd like for Coach Tom Atkinson to come up, and I'd like for Coach Dick to come up as well, and everybody that played on the 73 team for Tom Atkinson and Coach Dick. It was quite an experience to play in 1973. It was a great bunch of guys. We had a bunch of guys that didn't play other sports mainly. I remember people saying, "Why, those boys won't win a game," and some of them thought they were smart. But we played our first game really tough. We came in to play Gamaliel. Let's see, we didn't have lights that year either, did we? So we played Gamaliel, which is long gone, during the school day. And I remember we played Barron County, and one of their players, we had to dress in the same dressing room. Clinton County and the visiting team did. And after we played Barron County tough, one of their players said, "Who y'all play next week?" I said, "Well, we played Gamaliel." He said, "Oh, you're better than them. You'll beat them." And lo and behold, the Courier Journal didn't think so. They had a little football summary, and Gamaliel had been on a losing streak, and they mentioned in there that it looked like the Tigers' losing ways would stop because they got to play Clinton County, who's a first-year program. And he read us that in the dressing room, and as somebody said, the walls started moving in there. They couldn't handle Bear Connor. They couldn't handle Garland McWhorter. They couldn't handle Kenny Sales. We had great running backs. And Tom Atkinson knew football. He'd been to Fleming County. He was an excellent football guy and a good guy. But, Coach, we want to give you, on behalf of the 73 team from 50 years ago, we want to give you a football signed by your players. And thank you so much for everything you did for us. And the microphone is yours.
All right. Tom Gabler is a man that taught Casey County or Clinton County how to play football. I'm gonna give him all the credit in the world. When I came 3 weeks before the first game, he had them for us a year. They knew how to block. They knew how to tackle. It was the biggest team. I coached at 3 other schools. The biggest football team, player-wise, that I ever coached. I never had kids like this. They were all men. Bear and Jesus Christ, look at these guys. I'm going to tell you a story on Jim Dick in a minute. But Jim, I understand, started with flag football here and got the interest built. Tom came in and did an excellent job of teaching them the fundamentals. I came in 3 weeks before the first game. They didn't know me. They had no idea where Paris, Kentucky was. That's where I went to high school. And we didn't have a communication problem, but you know how you get a new teacher the first year, you got to sort of learn each other. And as the season went on, we learned each other. We became very competitive. And one of my best coaching experiences was when we beat Cumberland County at their place. Kenny Sales, he kept getting hurt, and I kept sending him back in the game. I didn't know anything about injuries, you know. But I want to tell you, Jim needs a lot of credit. He really does. He was out there every day. And I only questioned his intelligence one time. When about halfway through the season, I looked up and I got a new player. Jim Dick had dressed out to scrimmage with the football team. Any comments?
Mistake.
The players loved him. I mean, they thought, oh boy, we're going to get him now. But the community, I hope, get behind this program. They got behind Tom, who did an excellent job. They got behind Jim, and they got behind me later. And I would have loved to stay here. But that wasn't going to happen with the situation like it was with the school administration. But I can't tell you how proud and how many great memories I have of these guys. And we'll tell one on Bear Connor. We was going over to play Edmonton County the last game of the season. And I had a rule. When we get on the bus, no talking. I don't know, Edmonton County, what, 50 miles away? Well, old Bear decided he was going to be the class comedian. He's sitting in the back with the quarter. And they're giggling. Well, that went over like a, So we went through Maribon. And on the right-hand side, I'll never forget, excuse me, there was a payphone. And I told the bus driver to stop the bus. And I said, Bear, come up here. He come up there, his head sort of down. I said, Bear, you got your quarter? And he said, yeah, Coach. I kicked his butt off the bus going to Edmonton County. Somebody came along, was going to the game after. Do you remember this? Some guy picked him up. Hell, they beat us to the field. But Bear, he was a bear that night. He was. I'll tell you what. I was never prouder of a bunch of teams and the teams I coached than I was of this one. They accepted me. Tom had done a fantastic job. Jim had done a great job. And to walk in here and see the athletes that they had developed, and all I had to do was call the plays and set up the defense. I was very, very fortunate to land in Clinton County.
Thank you, Coach.
Well, you got it.
We had some fun. We had some fun. I want to mention a couple other people before we get going. Rudy Thomas was out there at the flag football with Jim Dick and David York. Rudy's here, and he also worked the chain gang there for years. Rudy, we appreciate you.
Where is Rudy?
And right there. And Tommy Wood was an assistant coach, what, 2 years here, Tom? 1 year. And we appreciate Tom and his wife being here. And he also was over at Casey County for a while, I think. Now there's another fellow we want to recognize, and I'm going to refer to him as what Randy Speck referred to him a few days ago. The father of Clinton County football.
Yes, Jim Dick.
Jim Dick. No, it was his dream. It was his idea. He started the flag football program. We were building a new school, and there was room to build a field. And he took us that first year. I started practicing when we didn't even have pads. A lot of these boys did. And I want to say something about Coach Castle. I played basketball, and basketball players always just goofed off after basketball season and played ball. Well, that year, and I think it was just to build the numbers up in football, Castle said, you boys go to study hall or you go out for football. So I know Lonnie Purdue and I stayed with football. And also Coach Castle would load up the equipment in the back of a truck, and Lyndall Castle, who happened to be Coach Dick's uncle, by the way, really helped get this thing going. And we had great cooperation, and if you don't have cooperation amongst your administrators and your coaches, you're not going to have a program that prospers. But Coach, and everybody that played with Coach Dick, I believe is already up here, most of them, but we want to give you a football like we did the head coaches, and I think David's gone. David's got it.
Yeah.
And I know he wants to say some things, so I'm going to turn the microphone over to him.
Okay, I'd like to tell you a little bit of how I got interested in football to begin with.
Talk, David.
I didn't just on or off, you know? Okay, anyway.
Talk like you're on the football field.
Okay, I'll talk like I'm on the football field.
There you go.
My mother was from North Alabama, and I went down there when I was 9 years old, and I got to go out and sit on the bench with my uncles on the team that he played for. He was 6'5", 240 pounds, and went to Mississippi State when he graduated. I watched him come off the field with a broken finger and a bone sticking out, and the old team doctor jerked it in place, put a tongue compressor under it, tapped it up, put it back in the game. You couldn't do that today, but they did it then. Anyway, that was my introduction to football. I'd never been around it before, and it was, I was hooked. And I was only 9 years old. Well, when I was 16, I went to Alabama and spent the summer with my grandmother. And I went out to practice with the local high school team that summer. Coach came to me and said, "You got some promise." I was catching the ball, running and catching. He said, "You're a junior coming up, right?" "Yep." He said, "Ask your parents if you could stay here with your grandmother and play your 2 seasons here that you got left." Well, I called Dad, and he said, "Get home, I need you on the farm." So that was the end of that. But these guys, all of them have been introduced here. The foundation of this program right now. Those young guys right out there that are warming up, they owe everything to this group right here behind me. Because step by step, this program was built, and Lyndall Castle was the biggest supporter of this football program at Clinton County High School, even though he was a basketball coach and athletics. He was the man that run interference with the administration here to get us what we had. And he deserves as much praise as anybody here. Okay, anyway, that's what you do when you get old. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to see football here at Clinton County. And this group that I first worked with, I just don't have enough praise for them because they were just tough country boys for the most part. Even those that lived in town were tough. And we didn't have a weight program back then, you know. But we knocked some people in the dirt because we were tougher than a lot of people we played. And I just want to tell you that this bunch of guys right here behind me deserve all the credit for building this program because they're the ones that got out there on the field and got their nose dirty. So thank you, God bless you, and everybody have a good night.
Jeff Ryman wants the mic.
This is a mistake.
This gentleman that was just here, Jim Dick, is the reason we got a football team to begin with. He called and strictly, and we started playing when I was in 8th grade. And all the respect that I can say goes to Jim Dick because he was the foundation of the football here in Clinton County.
Well, got one other presentation, and we had a great bunch of seniors in '73, and we had one guy that scored the first touchdown in the history of Clinton County football. And he drove down here from Wolfe County today. He's a Fairlander, as so many of our great athletes were. And Garland, Butch, Willie McCorder. Garland, we got something for you.
That's good.
Yeah, McCorder. This is Garland McCorder, September 14th, 1973. First touchdown in school history.
I'm not a speaker, I'm a country boy. Let me tell you something. I grew up on a farm. We played football every Saturday, every Sunday in my dad's front yard. And Mr. Barry Connor can tell you for a fact that more people hung on our barbed wire fence in the farm than any place else. We had another player that played, but he was a year or two old. Missed out, junior couch. We'd have had junior couch out here, we might have went undefeated. He was that good. He was one man. As for the first touchdown, Mr. Sales and Mr. Elmore had to miss the ball, I wouldn't have got it. Thank you all.
Garland mentioned a couple of fellas there, and one of them leads me into mentioning all the guys that are gone. We've got the memorial table here. We've got jerseys, several of the guys. We've got pictures of everybody. And but there's one guy that the class of 70, the 73 team has to mention, and he was our team captain. And he was the team leader. He was a quiet leader. And we all loved him and we respected him, and he'd kick our butts if we didn't put out 100%. And I'm talking about Gary Elmore. We all miss Gary. Now, to elaborate here in a few minutes, they want us all to step out to the edge of the field. They'll let us know when the team goes out. We need to do that. At halftime, the class, or the 73 team, will be introduced by name at halftime. So if you're a player, a coach, or a statistician of the 73 team, you'll need to go out. And I think we've got something for everybody too. And when I say the 73 team, I mean if you were a freshman, a sophomore, a junior, or a senior, anybody that played that year is considered part of the first team. And we've got a little something for everybody. And if you think you were on that team, go out there. We were operating by the annual and by memory. And it's like in the program, we've made mistakes, we've left people out, we're wrong, but we did the best we could.
Thank you, David.
Now I want to give some thanks. I want to thank all the reunion committee members, the Clinton County Athletic Department, Clinton Jewelers, Donna Shearer. Donna was statistician on the last team, and Donna was a big help. Donna Butler. Everybody goes by maiden name tonight, okay? Clinton County News, great publicity, great support. Hidden Cedars RV Park and Campground. Kenny Dearborn, Mike Connor and family, Pepsi and Barry Melton, they gave us the drinks. Richie Burchett cooked the hog. Sunset Resort, Toby Connor and family, Tricia Miller, the program designer, and Tyson Foods. And I particularly want to thank Tony Sloan. Tony paid for the program, okay? And Tony did that in memory of his brother Brucey. And I've got to mention the Goose Man, as we call him, Clinton County's biggest sports fan. He was on the school board, and if he hadn't been on there as an advocate for football, I don't think we'd ever had a program. So we appreciate all that. At 8 o'clock in the morning, those of you that want to come and have breakfast at the Munch Box, it's a block north of the square on Cross Street. We're going to eat at 8 o'clock and continue our fellowship and reminiscing and all that. So I hope several of you can come to that. At this point in time, we're going to turn the mic over to whoever wants to say anything else, and we'll start with Barry Barnett.
We have a lot to the coaches to thank. Sometimes they'll step into positions where they don't even have no idea they're going to be stepping into. One of those was that Coach Castle had to step into the role of being a referee for both teams. Now he's a baseball coach, so we just took him for granted. He knew everything there was to know. Now, I'm sorry. Here is what happened. I was injured and I was on the sideline and I was running the signs, the tapes. And Coach Castle being up there as a referee. Our team caught the ball and got down through there. And you know how they used to say where we made it? He went, safe! I was on a baseball team. I don't think anybody even caught that at all except for somebody on the sideline watching. But I knew exactly what he was saying and I agreed with it. Our man was safe.
Thanks, Barry. Okay, guys. Anybody else? Barry Connor, I think you ought to come up here and say just a little something. Come up here. I don't know if it's true or not, but the story was Bears in the logwoods. Coach Dick went and got him to come back to school to play ball. That may not be true, but sure the heck sounds good, doesn't it, Bear?
I'd just like to thank everyone. We had a team effort. I had to thank all my teammates that played with us up here. And we had a great bunch of boys. I couldn't have done it without them.
We'd had a hard time doing it without you, Bear. All right, anybody else? Anybody from the 73 team or any other? Or Greg Summers, Junior Melton? Anybody? David Williams, you've not said much. You want to say anything? Leon Allen McClark? Anybody else? We are accepting donations. It's taken a whole lot of money to put this deal on, so you can give your donations into the football helmet, see David Williams or Bev or Vic. Programs are $10 a piece for non-participants, and we will be sending some of those out. I'd say we have some left, but there's a lot of great information in there. Mike Mann will sign autographs at when it's open. No, Mike, I'm sorry, I'll leave you alone, okay? Mike Cotter, you want to say anything? Randy Speck? Anybody? It's been a great time. We're going to stay here till the game is over. Those of us that want to, and just visit and tell a lot of good stories. Anybody else? Here comes Mr. Fryman again.
Once again, I do this every year, every time we have one. The reason we got a football team is because we've had a lot of great coaches. But the reason we got a football team here was because of Jim Dick. And I will be forever happy to see him every time.
Thank you, Jeffrey. All right. Tiger Latham wants to say something here. And nobody's done as much for the program since it started back. And I want to also mention Coach Miller is here, a great coach in Clinton County history. Coach Hatcher could not come. He's coaching up at Somerset. But Mitchell Latham has been a big help for years, and I'd like to turn it over to him.
I just wanted to say how blessed I was. I got to play here, and then 25 years after I played here, I got to be an assistant coach with the first varsity game that they started back. And I see one of my former players here, Dexter, and got to coach Dexter's dad, Dwayne, Coach Willie Arms there. We coached together. Coach Tank Dalton couldn't be with us. He played when we played, and he got to coach too. But it was a blessing to get to do both. And I just so proud of the program, and just want them to keep playing ball, keep having fun, and win some ball games.
And very good, Tiger. And both the Dalton boys, Tank and Dwayne, were tremendous supporters of this program when it started back and helped coach. And we really appreciate them. We appreciate Dwayne's family being here tonight. Last call. Anybody else? All right, everybody's on their own. We'll get your attention when they want us to go to the edge of the field. Thank you all.
Football, 1972 to 1981 had a great turnout. On the field now is the 1973 team.
If you're Coach Dick.
Right now beginning with Billy Arms, Kevin Lovelord, Rick Summers, Junior Melton, Garland McCorder, who scored his first ever touchdown, Junior Bear Connor, Kenny Sale, Bobby Bull Winnow, David Cross, Lonnie Purdue, Roger Barber, Barry Barnett, Leon McClark, Max Staten, Jeff Ryan, Tim Purdue, Ben McElvain, Ronnie Alderson, Tom Thrasher, Claiborne, Ronnie Dyer, Will Howard, Matt Connell, Mike Mann, Max Speck, Rick Talent, Delaney Bryden, Rick Upchurch, Dick Upchurch, Hazel Upchurch, Lane Homer Riddle, Terry Stern, Eddie Lee, Jeff Vincent, Lloyd Owens, Tim Duval, Mike Beatty, Harold Dusbaum, Steve Dickerson, Johnny Davis, Jeff Melton. Statisticians were Pam Stearns, Wendy Connor, and Sherry Smith. Dickinson. Assistant coach was the father of football in Clifton County, Jim Dick. A nice round of applause for the 1960s. These players are no longer with us. We want to recognize them, beginning with Larry Shag Elmore, Wayne Perrigan, Jim Byers, Danny Thrasher, Leon Wilson, Ricky Smith, William Mason, and Russell Ford. Let's go. Just right here.